Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to the today's show about NetBackup Platform 9 and Flexscale. My name is Rohit Kawalay. I'm a director of product management based in India. And today my colleague is joining us from Mountain View, Sriharsha. Hey, Sriharsha.
Hi Rohit, how are you doing?
Hey, good to see you after a long time. Yeah, we have a great audience today. So what we're going to do today, Sri, is we'll talk about our new offering, which is a Flexscale, and the finer details about how this platform is going to change the way we send the NetBackup platform out in the field. Sounds good?
Yep, definitely. That sounds an interesting topic.
All right. So, Shri, tell us a bit more about what's this all hoopla about the FlexScale appliance. We already have our software offerings, we have our Flex appliances, virtual appliances, and a real physical appliance. Tell us more about this FlexScale appliance.
Definitely, Rohit. With the recent introduction of NetBackup 9, we have launched a new platform called NetBackup Flexscale. And until we launched NetBackup 9, as you rightly mentioned, we were offering scale-up hardware-based appliance, bring your own server, or cloud-native deployment. The biggest missing piece in the puzzle is a scale-out option. So at Veritas, we believe that one size doesn't fit all. Customers have different sort of challenges, different sort of use cases, where one specific solution is not going to fit to the requirement. So that's exactly the reason why we have come up with a new scale out and hyper converged architecture, which is nothing but FlexScale, which offers another deployment option for our customers.
That's wonderful. So, Shri, tell me, are you not going to do the traditional appliances, which is like vertically scale up appliances?
That's a great question. And in fact, I'm getting that question more frequently recently. That's not the case anymore, right? We actually continue to support the traditional scale up appliance. For example, there are certain use cases where customers need more capacity than compute. Those customers can optimize using a scale up appliance where you're actually adding more capacity but not compute. And then there are another set of modern workloads like the virtualization and containerized workloads where it may demand more compute, or your environment is so dynamic that your applications and workloads keep on adding. That's where you can rely on FlexScale, which actually brings in both compute as well as capacity. So both are relevant.
That's a great positioning. So tell us a bit more about is there any specific different the compatibility list or certain application that will be supported, or is it standard net backup on top of it?
So believe me, it's a standard net backup. When you talk
Wow.
about scale out, right? When you talk about scale out, often I have witnessed a solution from our friends, our enemies, or other competitors. When they launched a scale out solution, it's actually not easy to support a scale out for all the workloads that we have been supporting over years. So we have spent more than 24 months of time to redesign even the workloads so that when we launch FlexScale, we offer the same level of workloads and same level of capability to our customers. So for customer, end of the day, it's the same net backup, exactly the same set of features, same set of workloads that they have been protecting. And the only change is the underlying architecture is now scale out.
Wonderful. Also, what I've realized is this is the first time we are calling it an appliance, but it's going to be available in a unique form factor. Would you like to talk a bit more about that?
Oh yeah, definitely. But before that, Rohit, I got a question for you.
Oh,
Uh,
sure.
do, do you like pizza?
Of course, I like my own toppings and own unique customization.
Awesome. So, if you look at a BYOS type of model, bring your own server model. Again, I'm using pizza as an analogy here.
Yeah.
You make your own dough and you bake it yourself, and you put your toppings and you prepare everything yourself. I'm sure it's fun to spend some time in kitchen and make your own pizza. And on the other hand, if you look at our appliances, it's pretty much like you have a cheese pizza, maybe veggie pizza, and probably a few other options, pizza options, and you order one of them, right? And that's what I call as an appliance form factor. What if I give you the benefits of choosing your toppings and
Mhm.
choosing your dough and cheese and all the toppings, everything that you need. At the same time, you don't need to spend a whole lot of time in kitchen, and I'll deliver it to you. So that's a business model we are going after with Flexscale. So we are giving a whole lot of hardware options and choices to customers. At the same time, we are not giving up the turnkey experience offered by appliances. So customers would still get the same turnkey experience and hardened operating system, hardened features and stack with Flexscale. At the same time, an opportunity to choose between HP and few other hardware platforms.
All right. Tell us a bit more about resiliency, because I believe in a horizontally scalable architecture, the resiliency is the key. So, how are we different from our competitors, or how are we taking care of the resiliency here?
That's my favorite question for sure. So you see, one advantage that we had with Flexscale is, right, so when it comes to a scale out form factor, we actually learned from the mistakes of our competitors. It's always fun when you learn from someone else's mistakes and not your.
Yeah.
Of course, you learn from your own mistakes, but that's expensive. We looked at those scale out architectures offered by the competitors, and what we found was either they offer optimization or resiliency or performance, not all three, right? You'll get only either one or two of these, but not all three. So with Flexscale, we built the architecture in such a way that the customers will get all these three. Like the way eraser coded layout and the storage layout built underneath in Flexscale, it can actually sustain multi-point failures. So when I talk about a commodity hardware, off the shelf hardware, we are talking about MTBF and AFR failure rates, which are going to be fairly higher than an enterprise $1 million equipment, right? It's going to be hardware failure or network or any other component can fail in these commodity hardwares. So that's why we built the technology in such a way that it can sustain 4 different failures at any given point of time. So that's the level of resilience we built into the system.
Well, that's wonderful. But really, I mean, the reason why someone will choose horizontally scalable architecture over, the vertically scalable or traditional appliances is the ease of expansion. So, can you tell us a bit more about the experience the customer will get when they want to expand? Is it too cumbersome? Do they have to call professional services? Tell us a bit more about if I'm the customer and today I have a 4 node, Flexscale appliance running. I want to expand now. So just walk me through the experience as a customer, what I will see.
Definitely. In fact, with Flexscale, expanding the capacity and compute is extremely simple, extremely easy. Um, Imagine you have a 4 node cluster running and you have a bunch of backup jobs and restore jobs going on in your environment. And now you realize that, hey, I have more virtual machines or I have more workloads to protect. So all you need to do is bring in a new node, put it into the rack, connect the cables, and turn it on. Once you turn the node on, it will automatically appear in Flexscale UI that, hey, I discovered a
Wow.
new friend. And all you need to do is select that node and enter a bunch of network parameters like what the IP you want to give and a few other details, IPMI and other details, which is optional. With just 3 or 4 parameters, and select the node and add the node to the cluster, and you're all set. And you don't need to. The most important part is traditionally, you, for example, you are introducing a new node or new media server, you have to make changes to bp.conf, write in configuration files on
Mhm.
the client side. You don't need to do all that with Flexscale because it comes with a built-in media server gateway and load balancer services, and these services will automatically redirect the streams and jobs to the newly added node. So at any given point of time, your workloads are symmetrically spread across the entire cluster, giving the best possible performance and optimization.
All right. So if I'm that traditional NetBackup customer, I know my catalog size, I need to protect it, I need to size for it, I need to back it up in case of a disaster recovery. Is it this still same here?
Absolutely not. Worrying about catalog size, protecting the catalog is a problem of yesterday.
Oh, wonderful.
So there is a multi-level protection that Flexscale offers. When I say multi-level, not just one or two, 4 levels of protection that Flexscale offers. The first one, by default, we maintain multiple copies or mirrored copies or images for catalog. Even if you lose a bunch of disks or a bunch of nodes, your catalog is still available and active. You don't need to do any recovery operation. That's the first level of defense. The second level, where it takes point in time snapshots for catalog. And by the way, all this is done automatically. I'm not expecting an admin, hey, this is the frequency of snapshot and these many snapshots I want to retain. Absolutely not, including the backup job. Everything is taken care automatically, and on day one when you deploy Flexscale solution. So with the snapshot based approach, let's say your latest copy of the snapshot is corrupted, you can easily go back to the older snapshot, right? We retain at least 36 snapshots at any given point of time, and all that is automatic and API driven. In case you detect a corruption, you select the snapshot and shift to the snapshot, and recovery of the catalog is much faster. And no other competitors offer a comprehensive metadata protection the way we offer to our customers.
That's fantastic. I think even I learned a lot about the finer details of FlexScale appliance today. Pretty cool. So the story from my side, the NetBackup platform side, is all these um, capabilities of deployment ease, or I would say the ease of horizontally scalability with NetBackup 9.0, which can run on FlexScale, our traditional appliance with the software. All these capabilities are available for our customers and run NetBackup 9.0. Uh, I mean, our biggest, I would say, advancements in 9.0 is about our cloud offering, Sriharsha. So in our cloud, what started with simple backup to the cloud, I mean, we are absolutely leader in backup to the cloud use case. But with our 9.0, we have made substantial changes in the MSDP to cloud. So which essentially cuts down any intermittent stage that is required. We used to have a gateway, or some third party guys will need a standalone gateway appliance where they'll send first data. And from that, the data will get pushed to the cloud. Now, this is completely eliminated. And when we send our data to our dedupe appliances, the FlexScale or any dedupe appliance out there, that data can be sent and stored directly into the cloud in the deduplicated format, saving you the storage cost and still have all the information for us to put it back together when we go for recovery. Uh, and not just backup to the cloud we talked about. With 9.0, our integration to the cloud point solution, which was essentially our protection inside the cloud with a very lightweight components and leveraging all the native cloud technologies of Snapshot, as you were just explaining, all the native the authentication mechanisms or the role-based access controls, all the different tiers of backup available inside cloud, all are leveraged in a cloud point. And all of this, your in-cloud protection can be still managed through NetBackup for all your on-prem as well as in cloud. So single glass pane. So we keep talking about NetBackup as a platform here. The way you have a choice for all these deployment models we talked since the beginning, the same choice we have for our customers to adapt to all either public cloud or even a private cloud. And especially when customers are choosing, I mean, first wave really started, a lot of customers choosing the public cloud. But as they went along, they started choosing at least two public cloud to load balance their risk, as well as some of them even started deploying a large scale private clouds. And that's when we really do a great job with our FlexScale appliance as well. So really, this is the offering that fits exactly at the time of this transformation.
I completely agree with you, Rohit. And the single pane of glass view that Flexscale and NetBackup together offers to customers to make the scale and performance and workload protection far more simple. That's a huge value addition with the stack. And you mentioned about eliminating the gateway approach in a cloud tiering requirement. So effectively, that particular feature we developed and delivered with NetBackup 9,
Mhm.
it offers even more advantage with a flex scale type of deployment. So in a flex scale environment, you are talking about not just one node. Let's say if you have 16 node cluster, all 16 nodes are doing a cloud out or cloud tiering
Wow.
simultaneously. So you're getting far more performance, far more throughput to the cloud. So you can archive, you can uh, do for long-term retention at a much faster pace than sending it from one or two media servers.
Yeah. And to just complete our cloud story, we also have recently acquired the Hubstore. And with that, the way our cloud point integration has played really well for protecting the asset inside the cloud, the Hubstore is now offering the complete enterprise level SaaS inside the cloud SaaS protection. And in the upcoming releases, we'll be closely integrating that just like our cloud point solution. The last bit on the cloud point is the whole DR for the fire drill or ransomware readiness purpose. So taking the backup copies which we send to the cloud, we can actually spin off the whole application stack inside cloud and actually perform our disaster readiness or ransomware readiness fire drills using VRP with our solution.
Wow, that sounds like a great value addition, especially for customers, where compliance is a critical requirement with the multiple copies and offsite copies and air gap copies that they need to maintain. That sounds
Right.
like a great solution.
And look, we on one hand we have all these different deployment models. We are taking care of on-prem. We are taking care of this in-cloud protection. We are taking care of this new breed of private cloud deployment. But there has to be a drive for ease of operations in all that. Otherwise, all of these are too complex and multiple environments. So there's a tremendous drive in NetBackup platform for the whole automation and ease of management, starting from our APIs. Now, there are about 400 APIs available, which all are leveraged in our web UI. That's how we are modernizing our user interface, but the same APIs are available for our customers to leverage them to create their own personal portals. If they have some sort of automation gateways created, they can all leverage them, and not even come to NetBackup for their protection need. Their self services can be handled by the custom made portal, or even our we have a plugins. We have plugins for ServiceNow, VRO, vCloud Director. All these plugins are ready to use to really drive this NetBackup protection capabilities directly to the end user. They can subscribe their own assets to the protection plans, and they get protected. So decentralize the day-to-day operation while still keeping the central backup infrastructure management with the core guys.
No, I couldn't agree more on that, Rohit. I think API and automation is definitely a very important ask and requirement for our customers. And we extended the net backup APIs in Flexscale platform to offer an end-to-end automation. When I say end-to-end, literally starting with the machine racked into your data center, connected to the network, and all you need to do is fire a bunch of scripts and APIs offered by Flexscale and NetBackup, and within 90 minutes, all your net backup services are up and running and ready to take your first backup. So that's the level of automation we
Yeah.
built with the combination of net backup and the platform APIs.
That's great. We keep talking about platform. I just wanted to take this last point that today we have about 800 workloads that we protect, and probably the largest number of the tape drives, the tape libraries, the storages, the different through our OST layer, all type of backup storages out there that we support. But more importantly, we also have now universal share. The universal share really allows us to use a share that is being exposed from our appliances to directly use for data dump. If you have a database or a legacy application that today you're not using any client or any net backup ready to use client, you can just simply use a universal share and a simple pre-scripting. You can quiesce your legacy application, dump that backup copies on the share, and that will get deduplicated directly onto our appliances. And while doing that, we still create a catalog of when the backup was taken, how and how to restore it. So you do get the benefit of dump and sweep without having to really spend that additional storage and manual management for all these databases that you have out there in your data center.
Awesome. And then I think with that, Rohit, 800 workloads is no more a real number, right? It's actually bigger than 800. When you talk about dump and
Growing.
sweep using the universal shares, it's much bigger.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there are many small enhancements that I can talk right now, but on a large front, I would say the reason why we continue to be absolutely market leader is our focus on finding the small problems which actually matters a lot for our customers, because we deal with the largest scale of customers, and even the smallest inefficiency can take away a large portion of their day-to-day operation time. I can give an example here. NDMP backup. I mean, the filers, the network filers out there, has been a challenge for our customers to backup, because the traditional NDMP protocol, for example, offers a certain speed, and you cannot uh, get the advantages of our backup platforms, such as the incremental backup or granular restore, because you still have to get back the entire NDMP data first, mount it, and then get a single file that you want, and it can be extremely time consuming. So one of the stuff that feature that we have done in 9.0 is really create a stream-based backup. So we dynamically create multiple streams for the NAS filer. We take a snapshot, and from the snapshot through the multiple streams which are dynamically created based on the available resources, we can bring the performance of backup very close to NDMP without having the limitations of NDMP. So you get the same speed backup, but you now have an ability to move that backup to either cheaper tiers, to a tape, or archive it to the cloud. All these options are available to you, and still you can just get pinpointed file rather than having to restore the entire NDMP copy back to the array.
Awesome. And on DNAS that you highlighted, I can probably use one of the recent examples from a customer POC. The customer, they were not happy using the NDMP mechanism for some of the filers, right? And they like the DNAS based approach. And when we demonstrated the feature, or when we did a successful POC in their environment, and there was like, it's an EDA workload. They have multi-billion files and like hundreds and thousands of NAS shares that they need to protect. And when we used a combination of DNAS protection with Flexscale, we were able to demonstrate a linear scalability with every node we added into the cluster. And not just that, with the DNAS dynamic approach, the snapshot-based approach, snapshot diff-based approach, we were able to complete the incremental jobs within seconds where there was not much data change. So that definitely proved a huge value in that POC with the customer.
Absolutely. The last point that I want to just quickly touch upon is our strides into the whole ransomware, the problem that's all around the world right now. With 9.0, we have a very extensive ransomware offering, right from the detect, protect, and recover. We have a bunch of technologies, including VRP, in our portfolio that can help to detect any ransomware attack. But our biggest meat is actually in net backup, which can protect the backup, protect your data, and really act as a last line of defense. And through the different technologies such as air gap or traditional tape, or the archival policies inside the cloud, you can ensure no matter what, your backup copies will never be tampered. Now, with that in 9.2, we also support the immutable storages, the storages from the third party as well as our own appliances that you may want to take a quickly chance to introduce that to an audience here. The Flex appliance.
Right, the Flex appliance offers a great value with the ransomware protection, right? And it makes sure that the data is immutable, and it does offer multiple compliance modes. It offers a enterprise mode, and the compliance mode. And the advantage with these modes is it makes it a little flexible for those environments where, hey, I trust my admin, but at the same time I want the data to be kept secure from malicious attacks or bad actors. That's taken care with the help of enterprise mode, right? And when it
Yeah.
comes to compliance mode, it's extremely stringent. It's just impossible to tamper the data. It doesn't matter whether it's your own admin or your trusted administrator. Nobody can touch the data. Nobody can modify the data with the compliance mode. And the most important part is the way we implemented the solution. We actually rely on a software clock. That's important, right? So because when you talk about uh, storing the data securely within the retention period, there is a possibility that a rogue admin or rogue actor can tamper the clock and move the clock forward and then expire the images, expire the data. And we avoid that completely with the software clock built into our Flex appliance. And that makes sure that it has no dependency on the system clock, BIOS clock, or even NTP. It runs its own clock, and it makes sure that until and unless the actual retention happens, you will not be able to delete or touch the data. So that's the level of compliant ransomware solution we built with our Flex appliance.
Well, that's wonderful. So, Sreeharsha, I'd like to take a moment to thank you for joining us today and the entire audience for joining on this call today. Really, it was good to connect with you after a long time, and great to have you on the call today.
Thanks, Rohit, and thanks for all the discovery questions, and I hope it's helpful to the audience. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.